Okay, you guys, today we are going to be making Oreo crispy treats. So they're like Rice Krispie treats, but they are made with Oreos instead. So first, I am going to blend up the Oreos so they're in smaller pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Oreos and put them that's better, into my blender, chopped up. So I'm going to put almost a whole pack in here. Okay. I'm going to put the lid on. Okay, ready to blend. So you want it to kind of look like this, where there can still be some big pieces, but most of them are smaller. Next, I am going to turn on my stove to medium and put a large pot on the stove. And while that is warming up, I am going to put 2 tablespoons of butter into it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and let that warm up. While that is heating up, I'm going to use a nonstick spray and spray a pan that's about this size. You can use something bigger, you can use one smaller, depending on how thick you want your treats. So you want to make sure it's coated like that. Okay, so the butter is just about melted, and so it is time to put in the marshmallows. I am going to go ahead and put in a whole bag of marshmallows. I'm using the big ones, but the small ones work a little bit better. These are just what I had on hand. So let's do this. Okay, bigger bowl. So once all the marshmallows are in, you want to stir them around so that they all get covered in the butter. This helps them not to stick together and to not burn, so they have a more creamy, saucy texture. So you're going to watch the marshmallows and stir every few, like about every 30 seconds to make sure that they don't get burnt on the bottom. Okay, so once your marshmallow looks smooth like this, it is time to add in your Oreos. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the top, and oh, I'll also want to turn off the oven, or the stove. So I'm going to kind of sprinkle this in here. So you can see there are like bigger pieces in here, and that is totally okay. So there we go. And I'm just going to mix it in like this. And it might be difficult to mix it all in, but if you are having a hard time, you can always use your hand. Just be very careful that you do not burn yourself. I would suggest putting it in another container if you're planning on using your hands. So I'm just going to mix this until all of the Oreo is in the marshmallow, and it's one big blob. Okay, so this is what I mean by all one big blob. There's not really any loose Oreo pieces in here. So I'm going to take it And I am going to scrape it right into my pan that I went ahead and oiled up earlier. So I'm going to move this over to this side of the counter off of the burner and just spread this out into the pan. It might be a little difficult to use the spoon with it, so I'm going to actually use my hands. Make sure to wash your hands before this so that you don't get any gross germs in here, especially if you're sharing it with friends and family. Okay, so it's still a little warm, and so make sure to be careful and let it cool down a little bit if it is too hot. Okay, so that is what it looks like. I'm going to wait and let it cool down until it's completely cool, and then we'll slice it and eat it. Okay, now that the Oreo marshmallow treats are cooled, mine look like this, and I can't wait to snack on them for dessert tonight. Make sure to send pictures of yours when you are finished.